sun is high, we're feeling good. In Miami where the spirit's understood. With Bobby Finstock leading the crew. We're gonna show you what these Dolphins do. Fins up high, the crowd's roaring loud. In the city with the blue and aqua proud. Then the stanzas here with the play-by-play. We're getting ready, it's game day. Are you ready for some football? Miami Dolphins standing tall. Are you ready for some football? Showtime at the Hard Rock Yard. From the tailgate to the field of green with the best fans you've ever seen. Bobby's got the scoop, hot off the press. In Miami we roar to impress. Play up stats and pregame chat.
Good morning and Fins up Miami. Happy game day. Week 15 is here. The 6-7 Miami Dolphins traveling to Houston today to take on the Houston Texans, who are 8-5. But what a game it should be today. We got Fitzstanza in the house. Bobby Finstock. Happy game day, Fitzstanza. How you doing, brother?
Game. How am I doing? Honestly, it's Sunday. It's football. And I'm being totally honest. I'm going to be totally honest. No BS from me today. I promise. I swear. It could potentially have 4 games left. And I'm saying to myself, even though the NFL is there, we're almost at the end. It's December football. There's nothing more fun. There's nothing more exciting. Whether your team is in it or not, it's football. We get one day a week to truly enjoy NFL football. And I'm ecstatic that the Dolphins are actually playing a relevant game today.
And it is relevant. You know, the truth be told, look, Miami is still alive. Good morning, Miss Fins. Guys, go check out the Miss Fins podcast on YouTube. Like and subscribe. DSG label in the house. What's up, my brother? Look, truth be told, season is not going, has not gone the way we would have wanted it to or the way we want it to. However, Miami still alive. Their hopes are still alive, but you have to win. And, you know, you look at this game here and, you know, on the outside, just looking at it, knowing both organizations and where they are, you go, man, it's Houston, though. Damn, we're going against Houston. But I'm going to be real about this. I've been thinking about this all week, Fitzstance, and I haven't had a chance really to talk to you. I'm feeling good about this game. I'm feeling good. And I'll talk to you about it. We'll get through it.
I'm torn.
Torn. So at first I was torn because I'm going, damn, but then, dude, you got to, if you look at how Houston's done this year, even though they're 8-5, and that's because they know how to win when it matters. But when they've been like this, and I'm going to go through it. And then when I look at
they're like a dolphin. They're like a dolphin in the water.
There you go. But you know, and eventually, but our dolphin, they've been down here, and now they're coming. Whoa, and, you know. So I'm going to tell you right now, I'm feeling good about this game, and we'll get into it.
Could we just celebrate one thing though?
Yeah.
Before we start, hallelujah, praise the Lord, coming from the Jew. What took so long? Can we all celebrate? I wish them all the best. But finally, we're rid of Skylar Thompson. Can we just celebrate that moment? The fact that it took them to week 15 to replace him with Grant Dubose. I was hoping and praying for Bradley Chubb. But the fact that Skylar Thompson is finally this experiment, this stress, the joke about that Skylar Thompson should start besides Tua. Enough with this. Tua is our quarterback. Tua is a very good quarterback. He's the quarterback we need for this offensive line right now. I wish Skylar Thompson all the best, but he was he was one of those things. He was like that piece of corn that was stuck in your teeth for about a couple of weeks, and you couldn't get it out. It was bothering you no matter how hard you flossed. And honestly, it's enough. It's enough. Like, honestly, I wish him all the best, but we need to move on. And the fact that if he would have still been on this roster at the end of the year, you're going to yourself, what am I doing? But the fact that they actually replaced him with Grant Dubose, that just tells you want to know what? They think more of Grant Dubose than they think of Skylar Thompson.
Well, you know, I'm not going to go on any rants this morning.
I'm not ranting. I'm just
no. You might set me off to a rant.
I know the true experiment.
I can't wait till we. I'm not going to put anything on Skyler. His, getting him off this team. Yeah, we need to move. I think that's an indictment on our coaching staff. That you had this, and I'm saying he's a 7th round pick. His ceiling was a backup. Yeah, but you can't compare one to the other. You're right, though. You're right. But what I'm saying is that regression from what he even started at to be where he was, to be your second string, your third string, practice squad, get off the roster. And we're just going to get off the roster. I looked at the coaching staff.
Yeah.
Who at the beginning of this football season said, we are good with Skyler as our backup quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
We're good riding into the season with him as our second stringer. Because if Tua goes down, we could win with him. And they didn't. And it's got to the point where you had to basically you cut him middle of the season. So that's an indictment on the coaching staff. Hopefully they've learned their lesson. Hopefully during the offseason, they go out and get a legitimate, capable backup quarterback that can win. Tua goes down. We could win 2 games, not 1, or 3 games, not 1. But so
and the OBJ experiment, what a waste that was. Like,
Tyler, no hate on him at all. Wish him all the luck in the world. He may come back as president. As long as McDaniel here, maybe he has one. I don't know, but him getting cut to me is an indictment. OBJ, another guy who got released. That experiment failed.
That's also an indictment on both of them, because the fact that this guy was going to be out 4 games and you knew it, I put that less on McDaniel, more on Greer. Like, if you consciously knew this guy, what are you wasting a roster spot on a guy who caught 9 catches for 55 yards and was injured for the first 4 games of the year? Like, what was the point of that? Like, there were so many other options there. Like, you waited how many weeks to use Jonnu Smith, but then you took up a roster spot for no reason. Well, the emergence of Jonnu Smith and what Devon Ancient continues to do, he wasn't going to. I got my I sent a brag text to Bobby. No, I didn't get a text from you. I did not get a text. It's pretty evident. Honestly, the guy to play defense and offense, play Iron Man football the way that guy did, it was pretty evident this guy's.
You know what? As long as it's not a quarterback, I mean, even though I would have liked to see Cam Ward, Ashton Genty was my favorite, was my pick for the Heisman, but Travis Hunter winning, at least it's not a quarterback, and it's true. Yeah. Playing corner and defensive back and receiver. I know people are like, oh, but he's an average defensive back, and he's a special player. And listening to him talk about his dad and to his father yesterday, that caught you up in the field. So congratulations to Travis Hunter on winning the Heisman. Really cool. I really like that it wasn't a quarterback. Now if it's Cam Ward, that's a different piece because it's my guy. But still, it's so freaking boring. It's so predictable that a quarterback wins MVP and a quarterback wins the Heisman.
It's ridiculous.
Like, come on, dude. This is football. Yeah. Like, right now, the MVP in the NFL, as much as Josh Allen's been doing a great job, and you can't really argue that. Truth is, Saquon freaking Barkley. Saquon Barkley should be the leader in the house for MVP.
You want to know why he is? Because what you've learned, and I don't know if you disagree, even at their record this year, Jalen Hurts. You don't hear people talking about A.J. Brown this year. You don't hear people talking about Devontae Smith. I feel that Jalen Hurts has regressed this season. If they did not have Saquon Barkley and that defense, they would not be a playoff team. They are struck. They are the most uncomfortable. I don't know if you watch them closely. They are. There's disarray there. There's still a very level of discomfort in Philadelphia. You saw how they played against Carolina. There's still something off there. And Saquon Barkley, it's the same way. And you're from that state. How often have you and I talked about Derrick frickin' Henry? It didn't matter. Ryan Tannehill was an okay quarterback. The offensive line was The defense was good, but Derrick Henry was the one who stirred the chocolate milk there. He was the one who stirred the drink. Saquon Barkley, do you think that as bad as the New York Giants? Let me ask you something. Do you think? I believe that Daniel Jones might still be the quarterback. Let me ask you a serious question.
Yeah, I'm here.
I think Daniel Jones would still be the quarterback of the New York Giants if they would have given him a level contract.
Yes.
If Saquon Barkley was there.
Yeah.
If Saquon Barkley was still there, Daniel Jones would still be the starter.
No, 1,000%. 1,000%.
He masked Derrick Henry. Think about this. If Derrick Henry never left Tennessee, Ryan Tannehill could still be a quarterback. If Ryan Tannehill has a Derrick Henry, he could be a better quarterback. I believe, and you believe, and I think we were going to talk about this, I think the next level for Tua is if you get him a bell cow. That's what we wanted. I think we'll talk about HN in a little while, but I believe that if you are not a Josh Allen, not a Lamar Jackson, not a Patrick Mahomes, if you're not that level of quarterback, look at Brock Purdy without a fully healthy Christian McCaffrey now, right? Like if you don't have a star, like a major key running back, your quarterback play and your offensive line play is more. Unless you're a guy who's a wizard and is an elite star quarterback, look at Dan Marino. When Dan Marino didn't have a great running game, they didn't win much. You always need a very good running back. There aren't many, but look in Detroit. Jared Goff's having a great year because he has a two-headed monster in Montgomery and Gibbs. He has a two-headed monster of power. That makes a difference. The reason why I have more faith in the Ravens this year, not because of Lamar Jackson, because in playoff football, you have Derrick freaking Henry. It makes all that you got to live it in Tennessee. That changes. Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry and even Joe Mixon, we're going to talk about today, mask a lot of issues for your football team.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I know me and Alex actually talked about Ashton Genty on Wednesday, because obviously being who he is, it's like, oh, but he probably will go in the top 10 just because of what he's done and what he's capable of doing. But there are some running backs in this draft, and we're not taking anything away from Jalen Wright or any of that. What I'm saying is that there are some running backs in this draft who are legitimate thumpers. I mean, power backs who do their job. So, you don't have to go pro, but if you could go and dip your toe back in the draft pool and get yourself a thumper, and then you have that three-headed, because everybody, Jalen Wright did. Yeah, I like his upside, but he's more speed than he is power. And that's a good, because Achin is more of your wide receiver 3, and he's your gadget guy. He's Eckler. He's what Reggie Bush was, in New Orleans. That's what he is.
He's a big play player. That's what
but you need a ground, because Achin could be out, because look, Odell's gone. That's Achin's spot right now. You got Jonnu at tight end. You could have Jalen Wright at one spot. That's your speed. And then you go get a power back. That's your power. You could wear it. And guess what? Oh, my God, those guys are down. Oh, Achin comes back around, runs it. It's perfect.
I'll give you the best example. One of my best friends growing up is a massive Buccaneers fan. Okay? When they needed a ball, they had when they were in their prime with that phenomenal defense, who were their running backs? Warwick Dunn. And my favorite running back, fullback, Mike Allstott. Yep. When you knew when it was 4th and 1, 3rd and 2, 4th and 2, goal line, you never saw Warwick Dunn in between the numbers, in between the tackles. It was Mike freaking Allstott. And he is a star player because of that. That's what you need someone to do. Like the same way when I talked about Jerome Bettis. When you have those guys who are big and strong, every team really needs that. Like I find Montgomery the speed guy, Jamar Gibbs is your power guy. Like you need that mix. If you don't have it, you're not going to be successful.
Yeah, for sure. Very quick on today's game right now. Again, Miami Dolphins versus the Texans, Week 15. Dolphins are 6-7, and the Texans are 8-5. Dolphins clinging on to their playoff hopes, literally on life support. Ian Rappaport reporting that Texans tight end Kate Stover underwent emergency surgery last night. Team says he's doing well and should make a full recovery, but he's obviously out for today's game. So that is a confirmed out for Miami versus Houston. We wait for the inactives and actives list. A lot of good games today, a lot of important games. You're disappointed in what?
I'm disappointed unless it was his choice. In a game like this, I really hope it was a Bradley Chubb and medical decision and not a Mike McDaniel cautious decision like he did in Indianapolis by choosing to put Tua on IR when he could have come back for the Indianapolis game. Like, I think if Bradley Chubb was capable, and I hope he was banging I really hope it was a setback, like something where they really need to give him one more week, because I would have loved to see him, even if it was for 10 snaps today. I didn't expect them to just for that boost. They needed that boost today, and I'll talk about it very consciously today. I wish he was playing today. I wish.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
I
I
wish he
hear
played.
you. I hear you, and
I wanted him to
I
play
get
so
it.
bad
You
today.
want your best playing when you're going against a team like this, but I kind of let the cat out of the bag on how I'm feeling on this game. To me, I think the Dolphins feel just as confident, or feel maybe more confident, where they're like, we could hold you for one more week. Let's give you one more week to get game ready.
This is your biggest game. And
I
I'll
don't know.
explain why. I'll explain why.
I
I'll
know.
tell you my main concern.
That's
I'll
cool.
explain you
We could get into it. I mean, so again, I just feel really good about this game, and it's surprising to me. The more I thought about it, the more I'm like, damn, Miami could win this football game, And yes, it's a winning it's a game against a winning team. Miami has struggled against winning teams. It's a playoff team currently at this time. They're 8-5. We know CJ Stroud is no joke. We know that Will Anderson is no joke. We know what what Joe Mixon has been doing over there, Nico Collins and company. DeMarco Ryans, the mad respect for him and what he's done as a head coach there in that short amount of time. All that. But, the more you dive deep into that game and into the Texans, and you're looking at what they've done this season, and you see where Miami is currently, the only way Miami loses this game, for me, right now, is if they beat themselves. And Evan, we've seen it all season. We have seen them beat themselves a lot of times this season. There's times where, we could say whatever we want on postgame, but we know, like, God dang, dude, the Dolphins should have won that game. There was no reason to lose that football game, but penalties, mental mistakes, that kills you. But Miami has shown, Green Bay beat them down. That was on a Thursday night under the bright lights and cold ass weather against a physical team in Green Bay. This is at 1 p.m., 12 p.m. Central Time.
Indoors.
In a dome, right?
No excuses.
There's no excuses to lose this game.
And there's no better quarterback right now, stat-wise, consistency-wise, in the last 5 weeks than Tua.
15 touchdowns. What? Since he's come back, 15 touchdowns, 1 INT.
He's on the verge. If he continues at this pace, he's going to break Drew Brees' record for completion percentage in the season.
It's true, and that's my thing.
And if he takes him to the playoffs, Bobby, I'm saying it right here on this network. If we make it to the playoffs and we win the next 5 and we win the next 4, and we sneak into the 7th or 7th spot of this playoffs, I don't want to hear. I'm going to put a pound on the table. Tua could be your dark horse for MVP if he drags this team into the playoffs.
Well, isn't that what an MVP is?
If he gets them to the playoffs, if they win, because the only way they're getting to the playoffs is a Tua. If everyone else has to play their game, but there's no chance without Tua. So the purpose of an MVP is the most valuable player to your team. Right now, if they run the gauntlet and they get to 10-7 and they make it to the playoffs, there's no player who did more for his team in a season to get them to where they needed to go than Tua Tagovailoa. That's it. Like he's right now, he's doing his job. Everyone else needs to do their job, but he's doing his job because if you go rewatch that play, Bobby, that Jonnu Smith football catch, where he put that ball,
yeah,
most quarterbacks could not put the ball where he put it. Do you know how much traffic was where he was? He let go of that ball, and Jonnu Smith hadn't even gotten to that route yet. He was 10 yards away, and the ball was in the air.
Yeah,
he put it exactly where Jonnu Smith is going to be.
I said it. Look, there's no mystery. Tua's not all the way up here for me, and he's not all the way down here. He's here.
You can win with him.
It's good to great, but you could win with Tua at quarterback. I know a lot of people are so zoned in on Tua. They got a hard on for Tua. Get him off this team. We need another guy. We need another guy. We need another guy. You're looking at the wrong issue with the Dolphins. Just like I told you all off season. I told everybody watching. The problem, everybody complaining about Tua and his contract, you're looking at the wrong situation. You should be looking at the backup quarterback situation. Right now, you're not looking at the quarterback is not the issue right now with Miami as long as he's healthy.
How many people wanted Kirk Cousins? How many people wanted Kirk Cousins? How's Kirk Cousins doing? You know, Kirk Cousins is throwing. You want to know? Tua, the last 4 games, is what, throwing 13 touchdowns or 12 touchdowns, no interceptions, or something to that effect.
Yeah,
You know
13.
Cousins,
Yeah, 13-0, and then
yeah,
you
you know
got
what?
15
You know
and 1.
what? You know what Kirk Cousins has done in his last 4 games? 0 touchdowns, 8 interceptions in 4 games. 0 touchdowns, 8 interceptions.
You could win a playoff game with Tua at quarterback. You might not win it this year, but you could win a playoff game. And playoff game is my thing right now. That's what you need to do.
I'm
Win
convinced, unless it's literally the coldest game in the world again, if they go on a streak of 5 in a row and make it to the playoffs, they're going to win a playoff game.
They should.
If they make it, if they're on that kind of a heater, they're going to get healthy. They're going to get healthy by that point.
Yeah.
So, but I'm happy to go over all my concerns, like what the positive, the negatives of what this game is bringing until we get the inactives. But Tua is not your problem. He's the least of your problems.
So
By the way, congratulations. By the way, I just want to give a shout out to Teddy Two Gloves. First year coach Teddy Bridgewater led his alma mater, Miami Northwestern Senior High School, to a Class 3A Florida High School Athletic Association title in his first year of coaching. Congratulations to Teddy Bridgewater.
100%. 100%.
I don't know if you knew that, but
I did not know that, so that's really cool.
Good for him.
Pull this.
I would have used him as our backup this year. He would have been better.
Oh. Bobby's green screen sweep and stands as false claim, but searches the true kingdom of identity, which is held by. Thank you, wise guy. I appreciate you. Yes, sir. Put it together myself. There you go.
He doesn't know much about me. I'm Lord of the Idiots because that's Finstanza. What do you want from me?
Agent number 1, a playoff game, 1 singular playoff game, $212 million. But hey,
Kirk
but
Cousins
in order
is
to get there,
$100 million guaranteed. $100 million guaranteed.
You've got to get the job done. Just do your job. In the words of the late great Al Davis, just win, baby. That's it. And then, of course, Belichick, who went to North Carolina, do your job.
Want to hear
all right.
Stat? Someone just posted for
me.
Go ahead. Do you know that the Dolphins have yet to have a 100-yard rusher this season, but they yet to give up one either? It's interesting, eh?
Very interesting.
That's an interesting stat.
So
how did I mention that? That's an interesting stat. So at least the defense is stopping the run.
Yeah. So let me just run these very quick here. So the Miami is 6-7 this season right now. 8-5 are the Houston Texans. Texans are 4-2 at home. Miami 2-4 on the road. Dolphins currently ranked 19th in offense. We know the last few weeks they've been really higher, but they're 19th overall throughout the season. Where Houston with their offense, they're 18th, so they're right there. Defensively, Miami's ranked 9th, where Houston is ranked 5th. Houston is averaging 23.7 points a game throughout the season and giving up 22.2 points a game. Miami 22.5 giving up and 20.3 points a game, but really they've been averaging 28 points the last 5 games. Miami is, and then where Houston's averaging about 26 points a game the last 5 games. So you look at that, you look at what the possible injuries are. Obviously, we know Cade Stover is out. Juice Scruggs is out. We're waiting for the final inactives here. Bradley Chubb, he's on pace to return, not today, as Finstanza stated that he wish he was.
I wish.
Perrin Armstead is doubtful. We'll see if he plays today.
Honestly, I'm less concerned about the offensive line than people are today, and I'll explain why.
Oh, interesting.
I'll tell you why.
But okay, well, we'll let you go, and then I'll go over why I believe this is a winnable game for Miami today. But go ahead, man. Talk to me about this.
So let me talk about how the game for me is how it's going to go. Eric, by the way, is another one of my buddies. Big Miami Dolphins fan. One of my coworkers outside in the United States that I work with. He joined the network. Thank you, Eric. I really appreciate it. It's awesome. Like, honestly, Bobby, it's amazing. I pull up to a meeting like a month or two ago with one guy I've been engaging with for years. Next thing I know, I see he has a Dolphins green screen. Like, awesome. I go, oh, that's amazing. I have someone to work. That's awesome. But no. So for me today, let me just get some of the stuff out of the way. I love what Jason Sanders had to say this week, and I've been really looking at his stats. He says how. By the way, I don't know if you know this. 7 of his last 50-plus yarders, Bobby, he's made.
Yeah.
When's the last time Jason Sanders didn't kick a clutch field goal? Him and Kyrie Fairbanks are 2 clutch kickers. Yes, he missed extra point, but he even said, as long as I'm consistent, the guy's made his last 16 field goals. He's kicked 50-yarders this season. There's not going to be issues kicking in the dome, so I'm really not concerned about the special teams today. On the offensive side of the ball, yes, it's probably going to be Patrick Paul and a shot-up Kendall Lamb. I don't really want to play Jackson Carman on the right tackle. The reason I'm not as concerned is that the offensive line for me, the way Tua has been playing and the speed in which he gets it out, I'm more concerned about the offensive line in terms of the running game, which we do need to figure out. So maybe a dose of Mostert and Wilson and all that. But Tua's going to get the ball out so quick that I don't think that he didn't get sacked last week with Quinnen Williams and that group. So Tua's able to get the ball out. Tua went clean last week. So as long as Achan's there with Jonnu Smith and Waddle and Hill, I think that Tua is going to be clean today. I'm not concerned about that because Tua has the ability to mask the offensive line like he has for years. I think Patrick Paul has been in the offense all season. Yes, will they have moments of struggle? Sure. But I think Tua is not the concern today, and the offensive line is not the concern. My main concern is on the defense. Last week, you saw moments of an inability to tackle. Jalen Ramsey against Nico Collins. If he plays press, he'll be fine. If he plays zone, he'll play difficulty because he tripped last week on the Garrett Wilson play. He struggled. That concerns me. My concern and why I want to Chubb to play is, even though CJ Stroud's having a little more of a sophomore slump, is if Zach Sealer, Calais Campbell, Chop Robinson, and that group and Emmanuel Ogbah can't get to on a very weak line. Yes, Tunsil's there, but on a very weak Houston Texans line, if you allow CJ Stroud to get outside the pocket, that is when Jalen Ramsey and Kendall Fuller and Javon Holland and Jordan Poyer struggle. When you give a guy time in the pocket and you let him move around. Last week, when Aaron Rodgers had time in the pocket and he was moving around, he burnt our secondary. If they give pressure, and then we'll be fine. But my number one concern is CJ Stroud's a very good, has a tendency to throw the deep ball, and he's a mobile quarterback. Who do Miami Dolphins defenses struggle against? Mobile quarterbacks and extended times in the pocket for our secondary who can't keep up because we have an older secondary. So between Fuller, Ramsey, and Poyer. So that is where I'm concerned. That Tua is going to have to put up 35, 38 points, and this will very likely could be a shootout because our defense can't get to CJ Stroud. I'm not worried about Mixon. I'm not worried about my concern is Nico Collins and Tank Dell and Dalton Schultz and the ability for the Dolphins defense to get to CJ Stroud early, because if we fall behind, the Dolphins like to play ahead. So that's my number one concern in today's football game. If you cannot get to CJ Stroud and you allow him to extend football plays like you did against Aaron Rodgers last week, then I have major concerns for this team. If they're able to get to CJ Stroud and be able to wreak havoc on that offensive line, the Dolphins are going to win today. But if we cannot get to CJ Stroud early and often, it's going to be a long day for the Miami Dolphins defense.
That's all fair. It really is. And, you know, it makes a lot of sense. Why Finn Stance is giving me all new fears, you know?
But it's true. That's my concern. It's all the extended plays, Bobby, right? You saw it last week with Aaron Rodgers. When he had 4, 5, 10 seconds in the pocket, Jalen Ramsey got crushed. Remember that touchdown? Who was it? Wasn't it Drake May who threw that 40-yard bomb? And it was like a 10-play outside the pocket throw to was it Demario Davis in the end zone?
Yeah.
Jalen Ramsey was gassed. Jalen Ramsey has about 6 to 7 seconds with a guy. If after that he's gassed. He's gassed.
No, you're not wrong. I get it. I understand it 1,000%. Waiting to see if we get any of the inactives. Okay, here we go. Let's see. I think it came through if I could pull it up because I see people reacting to it. And here we go. Inactives for today. Here we go. Jeff Wilson, running back, inactive. Ethan Bonner, Kendall Lamb, Armstead, tight end Jack Stull, wide receiver D. Eskridge, D tackle Neil Full. So there you go. Dolphins, Taron Armstead and Kendall Lamb both out on the offensive
Kendall Lamb
line.
is out.
Kendall Lamb is out.
So you're starting Jackson Carmen.
Jackson Carman is starting. Jeff Wilson out as well.
Wow,
So
the shot didn't work.
say what?
The shot on his back because he wanted to play.
Yeah.
The fact that he could not play, I would have honestly, if that was the case, I would have had Isaiah Wynn like practicing a tackle this week. This is concerning for me. Jackson Carman, yes, he's a former second round pick, and maybe that will be, but that's going to be a struggle. Like you literally have it's all about Awan Brewer today. Like honestly, this is hard to take. That's scary. Not even Kendall Lamb today. That's a little bit that's a shock.
Yeah, so we'll see who's starting at that right tackle spot. Is it Jackson Carman? Do they move one of the? Do they put Eichenberg at right tackle? He's played that before.
I put Isaiah Wynn in.
Maybe you can put Isaiah Wynn at, I don't know, right guard. I'm not sure, but tough sledding for the Miami Dolphins in regards of their offensive line. But lucky enough for them, they got a quarterback who knows how to get it out in 2 seconds. So hopefully,
that's something I don't think people take the time to appreciate. How even John Gruden was talking about it yesterday on one of his shows. I've never seen a guy get rid of the ball as fast as that guy does. That by the way, the one thing we've never ever complimented Tua on once on this network or any network is how intelligent the man is. To absorb, to be able to read, to be able to get a ball out that quickly, Bobby. We don't talk even I talk fast. I don't talk as fast as he throws. Nope. And John Gruden even said it. The man doesn't. Most quarterbacks don't even have time to find the laces on the football. This guy has it out. It's out. It's absolutely outstanding how quickly he gets that ball out. It's incredible.
Oh,
and that's why you need. By the way, that's why you need speed on your wide receiver core because they have to get there because he's throwing it so goddamn fast. He has to get there. By the way, I'm not concerned about the injuries, obviously, today. I'm worried about, I guess Wilson's out because that means Mostert's playing. So, honestly, I really think today, Bobby, just to answer Scotty, just to let you know, because I don't know if you're aware of this. So, Anthony Walker, our blue dot linebacker, as a Christmas present, bought every single one of his teammates their high school jersey.
Yes.
Every single player.
That was an awesome
single
gift.
Player got their high school football jersey.
That is so cool. I saw that. Tua got so happy with it, but that was so cool to see.
Awesome.
That was an awesome idea from Anthony Walker. I mean, you know damn well he got some brownie points with the guys in the locker room on that. You know, they come out with that. That was really cool. So both tackles out, both starting tackles for Miami is out. Taron Armstead and Kendall Lamb inactive today with Jeff Wilson Jr., Raheem Mostert. Could he be playing? Ethan Bonner also out. So interesting to see.
Can I challenge you on a question and tell me why?
Yeah.
I want to know. Take the moment to answer this for a minute while I do something. Why do you think that Mike McDaniel and the coaching staff are afraid to use their other running backs in red zone situations? Why do they think that Devon Achane gives them their best bet? Like if they're in this crucial moment where they know they need points, why can't they trust Raheem Mostert today? You can't keep on blaming people for football for dropping footballs because remember, you know who used to be a fumble-itis guy? Tiki Barber. Tiki Barber is a phenomenal running back. He had the yips with running with fumbles forever. Did you tell me Tom Coughlin didn't ever forgive the guy? The guy got you 21 touchdowns, the majority in the red zone. You don't think he's more aware of the fact that he has to hold on to the football? Javon, he's not your one, but he definitely is your red zone guy. He has more power. If you don't want to give it to Wright, give it to Mostert. He will get you that touchdown today. If they're in the red zone, I guarantee you Mostert will punch it in today. I promise you. Give the guy a shot. So what is the fear of using other running backs in red zone situations?
Here's the thing. We watch them every Sunday, Thursday, Monday, whenever Miami plays, we watch them. The coaching staff watches them every day in practice. They're practicing, they're seeing. I know it's a tall thing to ask. It's a tough thing to ask. But that's the point when I guess you got to say, all right, I guess I got to trust what they're seeing. Raheem Mostert has not been in a lot of games this year in the last few weeks to be that red zone guy. He's been in and out of the lineup, and like you said, you brought up, he's had fumbleitis. He had a fumbleitis flu, apparently. Hopefully they got him his flu shot for that. But obviously, we all know what he is. We've seen him. We saw what he did last year. He had an amazing season last season. And it's crazy the drop-off we've seen this year, because you would think, even with a Devon Achane, an emerging, ascending Devon Achane, that Raheem Mostert should still be one of the main one of the focal points of this offense, especially in the running game, but he hasn't been. So what's been the drop-off? What has it been where it's come to the point? Has it been the fumbles? Is there a lingering injury issue we didn't know about before the season, that when it came to, and they said, man, it's just getting to him? Because we know how Mike McDaniel feels about Raheem Mostert. We know what he is to this offense, what he was last year, what he could have been with this receiving core. Of course, the receiving core hasn't been much of a factor till just recently. So it is a mystery. But if he is playing today, you would think, okay, let's get him involved, because he is one of our better players. Raheem Mostert is a legitimate option for any team, especially this one with a Mike McDaniel coached offense. So in regard to the other two, because Raheem Mostert was not an option the few weeks, and why is it not Jeff Wilson or Jalen Wright or whatever? I'm just going to say it like this. Jeff Wilson is Jeff Wilson. Right? We've seen a great game, but then it's just a total drop off. He was traded for a reason from San Francisco. He's been the third string back in Miami for a reason. You know, it is what it is. And maybe, hey, who knows? Maybe like Chris Brooks, he goes somewhere and has a great game or a good game. But I'm not losing sleep over Jeff Wilson not getting carries. It's Jeff Wilson. We're not talking Jay Ajayi back there or something. And Jalen Wright, I get it. We all love the what if, and oh my God, you know, I'm a fan of him, and I think that he could be a real good player, a decent player in the NFL and for the Miami Dolphins. But I think that's when a Raheem Mostert is officially out the door and all this, and he was meant to replace a Raheem Mostert who's not a power back. And people got to stop confusing Wright with a power back. He's a speedster, and he's talented as hell, and he could be a talented point in this offense. But those two guys are not Raheem Mostert. Now they got Raheem Mostert back. Mostert, if he is back today, he could be that guy for sure. Because Devon Achane, for all the crap anybody wants to give him, no one could question his heart and his football prowess. I mean, for his size to keep pounding the rock and keep trying to get it in there, and, you know, yeah, it took 5 tries, but he finally did it. That's who he is. There's no quitting him. I mean, you talked about it last week with Tua threw it and it almost got him killed. Even though, of course, we understand that if he couldn't get back up, God forbid, a head injury, he jumped right back up and went right back behind Tua. That's who he is. Devon Achane may not be the biggest, may not be the strongest, may not be Derrick Henry or any of those guys. But that dude is something that those guys are, is what a Derrick Henry is and those other guys. He's a football player. He has given me the ball, and I will do my job. It's very rare for Devon Achane to have the ball in his hands and it be a negative play. It's rare. It happens. Happens with all of them, but it's rare. So I can understand, you know what? Oh, okay, do I give this to Jeff Wilson, my third string back? Or do I give this to one of my better football players in on my team? You give it to your better football player. I'm sure he would rather give the ball to a Tyreek Hill, because what he could do with that ball, than a Jeff Wilson. You give the ball to your best players, and Devon Achane is that guy. Now, if Raheem Mostert's in there, you're right. Red zone opportunity, put Mostert there and give him the shot to run it in, or you could possibly toss it into him into the end zone. So you're right. But with Wilson and Wright, I'm not losing sleep over that. And that's why I believe we need a thumper. Shout out to everyone tuning in right now. Got wherever you're watching YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook. We appreciate you guys watching the Miami Dolphins pregame show here on FTSN. Fitzstanza and myself. Scotty's in the house. Appreciate you, Scotty. DSG Label, Wise Guy, Thirsty, Rob, Aladino, Miss Fins, everyone, Ben. Appreciate you guys. Daniel as well, Raphael as well. Appreciate you all. Yeah, it is very damaging with the offensive line being broken down as it is. It's real simple, Bobby. This is from Daniel Meehan. Appreciate you watching, brother, as always. It's real simple. This started with Austin Jackson going down. When guys go down is when you realize how good they are. I don't want to how good they are. Good point. I would say how important they are. As much crap as people gave Austin Jackson, his ascension into being a reliable tackle in the NFL at right tackle, protecting Tua's blind side, and especially in the running game, has spoke volumes for fans. Hopefully, like you said, as good, but I would say as important. It's shown how important Austin Jackson is to this offensive line.
Yeah, their zone running is.
Yeah, because you brought it up. Kendall Lamb. Since Kendall Lamb has gone in at right tackle, Kendall Lamb is really good at stepping in for Tarn Armstead. He did last year. He was reliable.
Yeah.
But he's out. Raphael. Taryn Armstead is out today. More than likely, our rookie will be starting there. So very interesting to see. Both our right and left tackles are out. Our backup right tackle is out. So you're going with third string. Shows his importance. I feel like I like that better because AJ isn't as yeah. It's very important to this football team. Just know. So George is in the house. Fitz Faithful podcast, guys. I don't know if it is yet. I haven't checked, but last I checked, Finn's Faithful Podcast is about 13 to 14 people away from hitting 1,000 subs. If you haven't yet, please, 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 Christmas wish, go over to the Finn's Faithful Podcast and hit that subscription button. George kills it week in and week out with Dolphins content. He brings it. He does his research.
14 more still.
There you go. He does his research.
Wise guy, if you want me to talk to you, go subscribe.
Kim Bokamper, he had on there. I mean, he's had Richmond Webb. He has Richmond Webb. He's had Steve Malloy a couple times. Bobby Schaus of the Dive Bar podcast. He hasn't had Fitzstanza yet.
He doesn't want to lose subscribers.
yeah, that's right. He's trying to get to 1,000. He can't have Fitzstanza yet. He has to be safely over. No, but look.
Oh,
George,
thanks.
George is an
George.
awesome
Thanks,
friend of
George.
mine.
I'm second fiddle.
George is a good friend of mine. I'm very proud of the work he puts in. I remember listening to his podcast for the first time and like, dude, this guy has the information. And when he went on YouTube, we talked about it. I was like, dude, you're gonna kill it, and he's killing it. So guys, please go like and subscribe. Get him over 1,000. You're missing out on some amazing Fins content. Continuing to go. DSG Label, Miami's defense will be whipped by the third quarter.
No, honestly, honestly, this is where Tua needs to really shine. And Mike McDaniel struggles against his former coaches or former cohorts. But he has no excuses today. It's in a dome. Monday open invitation. I have my holiday party tomorrow, but I could do Tuesday. I could do Wednesday. I could do Tuesday or Thursday this week for sure. I just can't do Monday. It's my holiday party. I can't exactly do it
his show's usually on Monday nights.
I know.
His show's on Monday nights.
We'll work it out. We'll work it out before the end of the year. I'm here.
Yeah, there you go, DSG. That's what I'm talking about, brother.
He's doing it for me. See?
Let's go. Let's go. Get him over
Wise guy better do it
guys.
too.
We got to get this Fins community up.
For me, the offensive line, we know what the issues are. But in the end, it's up to Mike McDaniel working with Tua to overcome that. And for me, the number one problem, Bobby, if you've noticed this, when we have our biggest chunk yard running plays, 25, 30 yards, holding, That's my number one concern with the offensive line is the penalties when we get big plays in the running attack. That's the one thing I need to see Butch Berry and Frank Smith clean up today. That if Mostert gets a 25, I'm always closing my eyes when Javon Achan or Raheem Mostert get an open space and they get these nice chunk yards. I'm waiting for the flag because that's what happens most of the time. That's my concern today is Patrick Paul going to go out for your life? And then you know how you know Jackson Carman is going to be starting today, Bobby? Besides wearing 76? Something very interesting about him when I watched a couple of his plays. He's the only guy I know when his hand's in the ground, you know where he puts his other hand? On his mask. He holds it on his mask. It's very awkward. Very, very weird superstition.
So let's do this. Let's go over our predictions for this week. And then look
at this. Look at this. See?
Hey, we got two. I think
Santa
we got
Claus.
two.
See?
There you go. Let us go through our weekly predictions, and then we'll get into keys of the game and then our Dolphins prediction for today. So let's start off first. Finstanza. I talked about this on check down, but we'll do it with you. I pulled up the playoff machine for this season. So currently, right now, Kansas City is at the number 1 seed. They're 12-1. They continue to find ways to win. I mean, they got the lucky goose. They got the lottery number, apparently. But they find ways to win. They are the number 1 seed. Buffalo had it in their grasp, and they lost. They got beat down by the Rams. 10-3. Yes, he will. I believe in Chop. He will have multiple sacks today, Chop Robinson. My dude.
Does Tua throw for more than 30 yards today? Yes. More than 30 yards. I think he meant
no. He means, I know what he's saying. He's saying
Yak?
Deep. Yeah, deep.
No,
ball,
it's going to be on Yak.
So,
but I think he'll take a chance today. I think they might.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised, by the way, if they throw the ball deep on the first play. I wouldn't be surprised today.
Yeah, they won't.
Let's surprise me.
Let's hold on the comments for now. Let's get through this point right here.
Sorry.
Kansas City 12-1, Buffalo at 10-3 at the 2nd seed. You got Pittsburgh at 10-3, the 3rd seed. Houston at 8-5, the 4th. Baltimore 8-5, the 5th. Chargers 8-5, the 6th, and Denver 8-5 at 7. And the NFC, as much as we care about the AFC, but the NFC, Detroit 12-1. 2nd seed is Philadelphia 11-2. The 3rd is Seattle at 8-5. Tampa Bay 7-6 at 4. Minnesota 11-2 at 5. That's crazy. Green Bay 6, 9-4, and then you have Washington at 8-5 at 7. My goodness. So obviously the Rams, they beat Josh Allen and the Bills. They beat San Francisco in an ugly game, but they win. Rams are no joke. You know who beat the Rams?
Who? The Dolphins.
Miami.
And by the way, on that was actually Tua's worst game since he came back. The Dolphins offense was not. That was the Dolphins defense that won them that football game. It wasn't the offense.
Yeah.
By the way, was that the worst Thursday night football game in history?
Did
what? You see the field goal show of 12-6?
No, I didn't watch it. I followed.
Well, let me ask you because I haven't spoken to you. Maybe you talked about it with. I'm sure you talked about it on Checkdown. I didn't have a chance to check out Checkdown yet. Imagine a Dolphins. What would happen to you as a fan if one of our players on the Dolphins decided not to go into a football game?
Oh, done.
Can you believe that? You're paid to play football and you don't go on the field.
Done. I would not even. No, there better. God forbid. There better be a medical emergency or something. That better not be. Let's continue here. Let's roll out. So you got the Baltimore Ravens taking on the New York Giants. Baltimore wins that, no question, right? We can skip that pretty quick, right? Yeah. Jacksonville takes on the New York Jets. I think Aaron Rodgers is playing. I don't think he's sat out for the rest of the year, even though he said I don't think we all know he's not coming back. But we're gonna roll with the Jets on this one, are we?
Yeah.
Okay. We got the Cowboys at Carolina. Shout out to Carolina. Especially Bryce Young. He's starting to look like what he was advertised to do. Who are you rolling with, Dallas or Carolina on this?
Carolina.
Ooh, okay. All right, Carolina. I like that. Interesting. which is it's so crazy. I'm gonna roll with Carolina here. Excuse me, I'm sorry, Dallas. Going on, you got the Commanders at the Saints. I got the Commanders.
Commanders.
Cincinnati at Tennessee. I got Cincinnati.
Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
Tennessee. Haven't you realized Tennessee always shatters the dreams of teams? They did
do.
Houston. They
As
did
bad
to
as-
Miami. They like to shatter dreams.
Yeah.
They like to be gold dust. Wouldn't that have been funny if Kevin Owens would have come out in the gold dust or stardust face? That would have been awesome.
I love the what do you call that? Just the smart assery of Kevin Owens.
Oh, I love it.
The whole shirt.
He's the Canadian dream.
Yeah. You
T-shirts
got
are the best. The t-shirts are the best.
You have Kansas City traveling to Cleveland. Kansas City will win that one.
Kansas City. Harrison Butker's back.
You got Indianapolis at Denver. This is a game where Miami would hope Indianapolis would win. How do you see this going?
Just because I have to be a homer, and I think that Denver I think Bo Nix is up for a bad game, and it's like an important game for them to get to 9 wins. I think Indianapolis, it's a tight game. They both need it. Indianapolis is going to somehow pull this off, a tight contest.
So, yeah, Indy, of course, 6-7. Denver,
they have the tiebreaker, but
they do have the tiebreaker. Denver's 8-5. 4-2 at home is Denver. 3-4 on the road is Indianapolis. Denver's defense too, at ranked 8th right now in the NFL, right above Miami. They fall to 8-6. Indy wins. So if Denver wins, they come up to the 6th seed, and that drops the Chargers. I'm gonna roll with Denver on that one. You go on to
such a negative person. How come negative?
It's not negative. I'm just going off the reality. I'm not saying anything negative. I'm the one who's going to be different from everybody else at the end. I know that. I don't care. We'll see who's negative at the end. New England against Arizona. I'm going to roll with Arizona.
Let's see. Actually, you want to know what? Arizona has not won a football game since coming back from the bye. The Patriots are going to win.
Ooh, here's a big one. You got the Buffalo Bills, 10-3, taking on the 12-1 Detroit Lions. This is huge. The Lions are 6-1 at home. Buffalo is 4-3 on the road. Offensively, the Bills are ranked 10th. Detroit ranked 2. Defensively, Detroit has the 10th defense. Buffalo has the 14th defense.
Who's the one offense in the NFL?
I thought I had it. I don't have it here.
But no. Who could possibly Baltimore? Like who could be ranked 1?
I don't know. We're not worried about that though. We'll probably see as I keep going through the list.
By the way, if this was an outdoor football game, if it was in Buffalo, that's Josh Allen's game. You're not stopping the Lions at home. That crowd, that team, the Sean McDermott. They're not going to win that football game. They suffered. If they couldn't stop a cold against the Rams, they're not stopping the Lions at home.
There you go.
Not a chance.
I have the Lions winning that game. The Buffalo Bills will fall to 10-4, and the Buffalo Bills go to the 3rd seed at that point.
Campbell is something else. I don't care what. I don't think he's a great coach, but what a motivator of men. Let's talk about a leader of men. Like, imagine you walk out into battle. You come out of the room and it's a blind date. Mike McDaniel, Dan Campbell. You're going, who do I want? You are going to go into battle with Dan Campbell. Like this is a guy who goes for it on 30. The guy takes so many chances. The guy has great was it Jim Ross who used to say the grapefruits in WWE?
McMahon.
That's what he has. He has giant-sized grapefruits.
Yeah. You have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to LA to take on the Chargers. I got Tampa Bay.
Oh, Tampa Bay's winning this all day long.
I got Tampa Bay.
Baker Mayfield, they want to solidify this division. And I think the Chargers are feeling it a little bit. And I personally believe that, honestly, that's one quarterback that I absolutely love. What he's been able to do in Tampa Bay
Mhm.
at a reasonable contract. The guy got bounced around from Carolina to LA, kept his mouth shut, stopped doing commercials. The guy has a good arm. He's a capable quarterback. Baker Mayfield is phenomenal. Like, and he's winning. And by the way, talk about deficiencies of coaching. They don't have a great coach in Todd Bowles, and they are winning in spite of it. Without
Another game that could possibly be game of the week, right where with Buffalo and Detroit, possibly is Pittsburgh at Philadelphia. That's going to be a good football game. Obviously, we talked about MVP candidate Saquon Barkley, but that defense, that team of Pittsburgh, the no quit team, I actually have Pittsburgh going into Philly and beating them today.
what they say, defenses win championships.
Yeah.
If I have a choice between, I love Saquon Barkley, but if I have a choice to start my football team tomorrow and I have either TJ Watt or I have Saquon Barkley, I'm taking TJ Watt. And if I have a choice of going into a football game and a rough physical game, and I have Mike Tomlin or Nick Sirianni, I'll take
Mike Tomlin all day.
Mike Tomlin.
And no offense, and shout out to the Philadelphia defense. They're ranked number 1 right now in NFL, but I'm rolling with Pittsburgh on this. I just think they're gonna out
They are
Philly.
more coaching matters, and you want to know what? Coaching matters and experience matters, and that's what they have in Pittsburgh. Bobby, the man has never had a losing season.
Never.
Ever.
Never.
You know how hard that is?
That's Mike Tomlin's great, man. And they'll take this over the second seed. If Buffalo loses today,
they can win a Super Bowl with Russell Wilson.
They can. If
Buffalo
Buffalo loses and Pittsburgh wins, Pittsburgh takes over the second seed. There'll be a game up 11-3, where Buffalo will be 3-4.
Can you believe they're 10-3, the Pittsburgh Steelers?
That's crazy.
With that quarter, I would have taken. By the way, how many of us were pounding the table for either Justin Fields or Russell Wilson to be our backup?
Yeah, right. I know. You got Green Bay at Seattle. I got Green Bay.
Green Bay. No, I actually Seattle. Mike McDonald. Since they've come back from the bye, they're 4-0. They're undefeated since the bye, opposite of Arizona, and I think they really want to solidify that division because they want to stay ahead of the Rams. They need this more than Green Bay, in theory. I know Green Bay needs it, but the Seattle, if it wasn't Green Bay, but this home matters, and I think the Seahawks are. Mike McDonald has this team cooking, and I believe that the Seahawks will pick up the victory today and move to 9-5.
There you go. Chicago at Minnesota. I'm rolling with Minnesota.
Over under that the Chicago Bears have more than 2 yards in the first half. Do you know that with a minute left last week, Bobby, heading into at the end of the first half, they had 2 yards of offense. Two.
And I see everybody talk about the Eagles. No doubt. Eagles are great team.
But they're so dysfunctional.
Well, we got, the issues between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts that's being publicized out there. But no, you think about the talent on that roster, no doubt, man, and what they've been able to do this year, no
talent
question.
Doesn't win everything.
But I think Pittsburgh pulls this out. And I'm rolling with Minnesota.
Let me ask you. Now, yes or no? Is Brian Flores a head coach of an NFL football team next season?
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah, he will be. I think he will be. Ennis, you got the Atlanta Falcons traveling to Vegas to take on the Raiders. I got the Falcons. Max Crosby's out. He's gone. He IR. Yep, done for the year.
By the way, as much as we rip Chris Greer, as much as we rip him, and we rip him many here, no one is complimentary on the Fifth Dog Sports Network of Chris Greer. We all want him out to pasture. 28.5 million got you what for Christian Wilkins this season? Right? Imagine we would have signed Christian Wilkins for $28.5 million and he missed 3/4 of the season. What Miami would be feeling right now, we wouldn't have Calais Campbell and it would just be Zach Sealer all by his lonesome. And we wouldn't have been able to sign some of these other players on the team that we have, like as bad as they've been. This is going to be an awful football game, but I think Bijan Robinson will will run all day, and I think that the Falcons will just survive, will win the game, because there's no Max Crosby. That's just
they're just the Raiders are done. I don't want to accuse any team of aiming for anything, but I think they're looking at that number 1 pick. They want to get their quarterback. Deion Sanders was publicly talk in front of everybody with Antonio Pierce saying, you got to draft my son. So, they want that to happen. Giants could end up with Cam Ward. We'll see how it goes down. Go ahead.
What are your when you see teams like the Raiders, teams like the Jets, like it's really crazy. Like as much as the Dolphins create some confusing situations, and our team is a little weird in the terms of how we run our team. In terms of, I've been hard on the dysfunction, but at least on the roster right now, you have a good quarterback. You have a very good running back, wide receiving running back. You have an up-and-comer in Jalen Wright who's going to develop. You have a left tackle for next season who's going to develop. You have a signed-up right tackle. You have Anthony Walker is there. You have Jalen Ramsey for the next couple of years. You have Waddle. You have Hill. We have Jonnu Smith extended. You have Zach Sealer. I'd bring back Calais Campbell if I could. You have Chop Robinson. I guarantee you a Reton Ogba. On top of Jalen, because you have to have a security blanket for Jalen Phillips. Maybe Bradley Chubb won't be back. We'll never know. But at least foundationally, as screwed up as the team is, there are core pieces. When you look at teams like the Jets and the Raiders and all these teams that are falling apart, the Bears, at least foundationally, we have one thing that a lot of people don't have is an established quarterback. He may not be elite yet, but he's an established, reliable quarterback who you can win with. So when you really think about it, as much as we've been hard on everything, at least there's foundational pieces on this roster.
There you go. Let's talk about it. Dolphins at Houston. Let me run through some of the comments there because I did see before that we had a few people already making those predictions on there. So forgive me as I go up. Let me see here. So Daniel has it 38-35 Miami. DSG Label has it 28-17 Houston. Scotty has it 27-24 Miami. Raphael says, my money says 27-13 Houston, but I would love a Dolphins W, 24-27. Wise Guy has it 28-21 Houston. See if anyone else has it. Miss out on nobody. Lenny Bruce in the house. Great to see you, my man. There you go. All right. So the 6-7 Miami Dolphins taking on the 8-5 Houston Texans today. We talked about the inactives. That hurts, no doubt. But I'm going to stick to my guns in my final prediction. But Miami, let me go ahead and pull this up here. As I'm doing that, Fitzstanza, what are your keys to victory, my man?
I think I outlined them pretty quickly. Tua has to get the ball out fast, and I mean fast.
Yeah.
And they need to use Jonnu Smith. And then when I mean fast, use Jonnu Smith early and often. Like, you can't wait till overtime. Jonnu Smith has to be his security blanket today. Very involved. The guy's a Pro Bowler. Like right now, he is the best option. Like he has been a top outside of Kelsey and Kittle.
No, he is.
He is a top 5
He's right
tight
there.
end in the NFL.
Crazy to say that for a Miami Dolphin.
Good kudos to Chris Greer, one of his best free agent signings in his 5 or 6 years of being GM is Jonnu Smith.
Yeah, Scotty, I'm with you. Spent a lot of screen passes today.
Yeah,
you have to.
They can find. Yeah. They just need to get out in space. Ingold has to have a great game today. So my keys to the game is you need to find a way to use Mostert. You have to find a way to use Smith, and Tua has to get the ball out fast. That's on the offensive side of the ball. Because I think Achan's going to get his touches, Waddle, and that. You have the number one thing for me. It's the number one key. You got to get to CJ Stroud fast. You got to get to him fast. If he has time in the pocket, CJ Stroud is going to cook, or Nico Collins is going to cook today. Jalen Ramsey. So for me, it's about Tua getting the ball out fast, utilizing your other running backs, not just Devon Achane, up the middle, and Sealer and Campbell, and they have to get there. In order to help your secondary today, you need to get to the quarterback fast. If you let him spread out, make and extend the play outside the pocket, it's going to be a very long day for the defense. Very long day.
So, right with you. Defense has to play their best game. Secondary, Jalen Ramsey has been a shell of himself the last few weeks. He has to show up today. He has to be the leader of that defense, especially in the secondary. Pass rush has to get to the quarterback, pressure CJ Stroud, and our run game defense has to step up too. Let's hope they're up to that task. That's for sure. Don't beat yourselves. Like I said, turnovers, penalties, limit it. Win the turnover battle. Thirdly, protect your quarterback as best you can and get that ball out quick. No hate on screen passes today. Get the ball out. Let your playmakers make a play. That's your job today. Just do it. And if you think you could drop a play, McDaniel, don't get outcoached. But if you think you could drop a play that gives to enough time to air it out to Tyreek or Waddle downfield, do it. But utilize the play action, utilize the quick outs.
Also, D'Amico Ryans plays a little bit of a soft zone also, so there's going to be space for Chan and Jonnu Smith to get extra yards. So don't be afraid of that. They play a zone type of
So, all right, Fitzdanza.
Yes.
This is it. What's your game prediction, my man?
Because I need to bring back my homer in me, I can't be negative about this game, because if I'm negative about this game, that means the season is pretty much over. Tua has to have a great game. McDaniel has to come out of his shell once in a while. Enough is enough with the narratives that they can't beat good teams. In honor of the fact that they have not won in Houston since 2003, since Jay Fiedler and Jay Wanstead were there. We've always struggled there. And in honor of Steve Malloy, I'd like Steve Malloy not to have a voice on Real Talk Rants on Tuesday. The Miami Dolphins will pick up the victory, and they will win 34-24.
Ooh, interesting. All right, 34-24 for Fitzstanza for Miami. Steve Malloy of Real Talk Rants will be there today. I think
and he
Mike
picked
Brown
a loss
as well.
He had a loss.
Did he? I didn't see that. Okay,
27-17 Houston.
All right. Good for him for still going, even though he believes that. But I would go too. I don't care. I want to see my Dolphins. I know. Look, let me just say this. We know what Houston is, and no one's crapping on the Houston Texans and what they could be and what they are. All right. And the loss of Taron Armstead and Kendall Lamb at the left and right tackle position, that's a tough pill to swallow. No question. I get it. But here's Jacksonville. Here's Houston the last 5 games, minus what we talked about. First off, offensive defensively, in terms of overall season, and Scotty could talk about the last 5 games for Miami. I think they're averaging 28 points a game the last 5 games.
They are averaging 28 points a game.
Where Houston, they're all, but really, realistically, all season, Miami and Houston are really on the same level. Offensively, 19 and 18. Defensively, the same 9 and 8. I think I don't know what the 8. But anyway, Houston right now. Last week they beat Jacksonville barely, 23-20. Then they lost to the the Tennessee Titans, 32-27. The worst team in football. Miami has 2 earlier in the year, but they just lost to the Tennessee Titans. They beat Dallas 34-10. They lost to Detroit 26-23. And on Halloween, they lost to the Jets 21-13. They're 2-3 the last 5 games. They are bipolar of the highest order. They lost against a great team against Detroit. They've lost against a bad team in New York. They beat a very bad team in Dallas. They lost to a bad team in Tennessee, and they barely beat a Mac Jones. No, excuse me. I think that was Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, who was injured halfway through that point, barely won that game. Where Miami, the last 5 games, as we know, beat New York 32-26, a bad New York team, and they made Aaron Rodgers look like Aaron Rodgers of old, but they won. They lost to a Green Bay team on Thursday night in cold weather under the bright lights, Thanksgiving. They beat New England 34-15. They beat the Raiders 34-19. They beat bad teams, but you're supposed to win those games like that. And then they beat the Rams, who just beat down the Buffalo Bills last week and beat the San Francisco 49ers. They beat the Rams 23-15. Guys, Armstead and Lamb being out sucks. That hurts. But here's some breaking news, at least for me, to you. My prediction, Miami's going to win this game. 31-27, Miami. They win this game.
I'm disappointed.
Whatever. You just care about the
you
score.
And Scotty and DSG.
And I made this prediction on Friday night.
What?
I made this prediction. Hold on. I made this prediction Friday night. 31-27 Miami. Okay?
Stretch it.
And
close.
Hold on. This popped up this morning, and I was like, holy crap. Coach Gruden agrees with me. He has it 31-27 Miami. So
I think Miami needs to cement this.
This is a winnable game for the Dolphins. We know what Houston is, and we know how it possibly could go. And and I agree with DSG label. That's another key. Keep Houston's offense off the field. No joke, especially with those players being out. Armstead and Lamb, Lagasse is not wrong in regards of Hunter and Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson, but
Tua is your cure for that.
Yeah, get the ball out.
Quinton Williams, one of the best defensive players in the league. Did you ever see him get near Tua last week?
Nope, not one time.
And Mostert wasn't, and Teron Armstead wasn't playing, and Kendall Williams could hardly move.
Yep.
Tua is your as much as we want to rip Tua, Brett. Tua is your cure for Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter. He doesn't hold on to the ball.
Just get the ball out. Guys, we'll be back here at 8 p.m. Eastern for post game. If you tune in, which most of you have, you know how fun post game is. So win, lose, or draw, we will be here. Hold on, my son wants to make a prediction. Tristan Finstock is in the house.
No 60 points today, Tristan.
Finstock Jr., I call him. Son, okay, we got the Houston Texans taking on the Miami Dolphins. Yeah. I have it 31-27. Fitzstanza has it 34-24. Brett Lagasse has it Texans 27-20.
Oh, okay, wow.
All right, Tristan, what's your prediction, man?
23-22 Dolphins.
Whoa, he has a close one.
I'll be sweating.
23-22.
I'll be sweating.
23-22.
Ooh.
All right, guys. Well, look, that's Finstanza. I'm Bobby Finstock. Tristan's going to let us out here. So, Tristan, I want you to say the closeout, and then I'll end it there.
Like, subscribe, and most importantly, fins up. I don't know how to say it. I'm done.
You got it. Like, subscribe, and fins up, everyone.
Fins up, everyone.
We'll see you guys today.